So many of you talk about being on the spiritual path. But I'd like for you to just expand your awareness beyond yourself individually, beyond what you conceive as a path, if you will, and imagine the whole of the heavens. We think of our solar system as rotating around the sun. And that's kind of imprinted into our consciousness, if you will. But actually, the sun is rotating around vast heavenly bodies, and the spiral of the heavens is inconceivable to the human mind. And so when you speak of walking a spiritual path, or I invite you to walk the path with the Rishi, I'm really talking about opening the gateways of divine evolution. And so there is the great power of an unfathomable omniscience of Genesis taking place right now. And so to lift up from the negative spin state of involution, where illusion is playing out all the strife and suffering and angst and tribulation, all the difficulties and horrors of this planet, where the little seed of joy or love or brotherhood so desperately is trying to survive in the midst of it all. And yet that love will prevail, as will the divine spark. And so I want you to truly understand that divine evolution is the upward spiral of the heavens, where we return to true time, dear ones, not the concept of living from the past in a succession of cultural conditioning that is now, for most of you, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lifetimes deep. You are knee-deep in the astral waters, if you will, and really and truly the masses of humanity are completely under the astral waters, and their crown chakra, their chakra system barely ever moves beyond it. But with the prime activation going on, it's a divine decree, it's a divine activation, if you will. I really impart this to you so that you can understand that yes, you are self-determining. Yes, your every choice is that which empowers you. At the same time, that the glory of the path of the return to light is something of a magnitude that we can barely even fathom. The extent, the vastness, the profound magnitude of what that really means. And so when we talk about manifesting Christ consciousness on our planet, or what some refer to as the fifth wheel of Christ consciousness, or what I refer to as the seventh wheel of Shambhala consciousness, which I began to abide upon some 2 decades ago. Now I will begin to say to you, I do not live in astral. I do not live in the rift of time. I do not abide in illusion. I abide in the divine matrix. I abide in the ever-perfecting perfection. I abide in that which is the divine blueprint that is evolving the heavens into an ever-perfecting perfection that consummates the meditation of the Brahma Godhead, the meditation, the prayer, the revelation of the cosmic Christ for what truly is the potential, not just for the human race, but for all of the stellar systems throughout our galaxy, throughout our universe. Inside of us, we already know that we were intended to live in benevolence, brotherhood, prosperity, well-being. We feel that inside of ourselves. For those of you who are awakening, you already know this to be your true north. You already know this to be the truth of your consciousness, very likely since you were a little child. For those of us who are destiny souls, who are encoded with the light of God, to wake up before the rest and to herald the thrust through all of the astral, but also to begin that ascension through all the planes of consciousness until we are living Christ consciousness. We are living God consciousness. And we have no remembrance of ill will or disappointment or illness or fear or any of those things that imprisons the human soul. And so when you begin to understand that you are not merely walking your spiritual path, dear ones, all alone, but rather you are part of a cosmic phenomena that assures you your awakening. And by virtue of your choice, by virtue of many choices that become the great decision, it assures you also of your enlightenment. And imagine, if you will, a planetary fellowship of nations and souls who were indeed enlightened. What kind of a planet would we have? And so as a living Rishi, there's never a moment in the day when I am not living in that perfected thought on behalf of humanity. I'm always aware of it. And so yes, I welcome you to walk your path with passion and grace and love and integrity. But I also remind you that the path is vast and its power omniscient. And this is truly the wind in your sails. It's truly the wind in your sails. There is a power omniscient that is moving o'er the face of the earth, that is moving through each of us. And so I want to continue many talks on this topic of divine evolution. But I leave you in this moment with this vision, this thought, this ambiance of transmission. There is a golden path of divine evolution, all powerful, all omniscient. That is the wind in your sails the moment you make the decision to awaken. And for those of you who comprehend that enlightenment is what will change the world, and enlightenment is your true and greatest legacy to all of you, then the tides, the celestial tides, will move you, not just wind in your sails, but the power of the great ocean of being will always be moving you towards your ultimate light. Feel this, dear ones, and be blessed.